Hi, everyone. A few days ago, we lost actor Chuck Norris. And I was thinking about him, and I was thinking about a movie of his that I own. I think it's the only Chuck Norris movie that I own in my collection. That's the 1982 film Silent Rage. I have it on DVD from quite some time ago now. And I gave this a spin again because I wanted to remember Chuck Norris a bit. Chuck Norris was an action hero, an actor. He started out in films like Way of the Dragon with Bruce Lee. He was known for his martial arts, but later on he wanted to be in movies, kind of where the martial arts had a little bit of a part in there, but he had more of an acting presence, and he could do more than just do, I guess, judo and all those things. So anyway, back in 1982, just slightly before I turned 20 years old, I went to see the movie Silent Rage in the theater by myself. Now, I went to see it partly because of Chuck Norris, but also because I like horror movies, okay? And I'm wearing a Frankenstein shirt here, and the movie Silent Rage is like a modern day, for 1982, telling of the old Frankenstein story. In fact, the director of the film actually said that he had the Frankenstein story in mind. He was making a Frankenstein film. That's director Michael Miller. And now, yeah, it is very Frankensteinian. It has the trappings of Frankenstein, the idea of a scientist that kind of creates a super being, a monster, if you will. But the story, as it really turns out, is that there's a small Texas town, and there's a mentally ill person who kills two members of the family, and it turns out that he's really mentally unhinged and super violent. And Chuck Norris is a sheriff that comes on the scene and has to subdue him. And then, as he's taken in, it turns out that he falls into the hands of a mad scientist played by Stephen Keats. And when I say mad scientist, this is like the old Frankenstein crazy mad doctor, but with a 1980s slant. I mean, you were taking it modern now. This is not, the old fashioned Dr. Frankenstein kind of thing, but it's pretty damn close for the 80s. And I would say also that it's in this film we have Ron Silver, who I always like Ron Silver in movies, as the psychiatrist that was treating this man, and he kind of is opposed to the idea that Dr. Philip Spires has in mind. Stephen Keats, the mad doc, wants to genetically alter this man and make him indestructible. He starts finding out that if he gets wounded, he heals quickly. He becomes a super being with a genetically altered abilities, and he's literally unstoppable. So, as this movie starts getting into gear, we have Sheriff Chuck Norris, along with his deputy, played by Stephen Furst. Stephen Furst from Animal House, the overweight actor who actually played Flounder in that comedy. It turns out that he's the deputy to Chuck Norris, and he's not exactly very efficient. You watch this, and Stephen Furst's character is completely comic relief. I mean, that's what he's there for. But you really have to ask yourself as you're watching the movie, how the hell did he ever make it onto the force? How the hell is he a deputy? And why is Chuck Norris so fond of this guy? Because he's totally incompetent. And yeah, other than laughs, he's not there for much. During this movie, you have, I guess, obligatory sequence involving martial arts. There's a good scene that's one of the best moments of the movie, where it turns out that Sheriff Norris goes into a bar with a bunch of crazy bikers, and he takes them all on, with his skills. And that's really what we're there for. That scene doesn't add anything to the movie. It's just there so we get to see Chuck do his stuff. And at the end of the movie, when he tries to take on this superhuman, super monster creature that's been enhanced to the point where nobody can kill him, and he keeps surviving no matter what, Norris gets to take him on again at the end. He gets to battle with him and give him a few roundhouse kicks or whatever it's called. And that's what we're here for. But I gotta say, although this is in no way a good movie, I can't call this a good movie. It is a fun action movie with trappings of horror and science fiction in here. And you're also getting out of this some Michael Myers feelings, the automaton, that the shape that keeps walking and can't be subdued. So you're getting like Friday the 13th slasher vibes. There's some slasher things. It's funny because director Michael Miller had said that he was not trying to do a slasher film. Well, pal, you maybe weren't, but it sure mimics a lot of slasher deaths and some blood here and there, just like in the current slasher films of the time. So there's a little bit of everything, a little bit of martial arts, a little horror, a little slasher, a little bit of comedy. I very hesitantly say there's a little bit of a love story in here because Chuck Norris has a love interest in the movie who is played by, let's see, Tony Callum, I believe, if I say the name right, if I'm getting the right actress here. So there's a little bit of everything, and it's fun. It is a fun movie, but I will say a couple of things. First of all, it is over long. The movie is, I think, I don't have it here in the information, but I remember looking at it. I think it's just it's like 100 minutes. It's over 100 minutes, I think, which is a little too long. It feels too long in here, but there's some moments that definitely kind of drag and they feel like padded out. But it also has its periods of action and periods of fun in it. So you're getting a little bit, like I said, Frankenstein. You're getting a little bit of Michael Myers, and you're getting a little bit of Bruce Lee in here. So as far as the acting, if you can call it that, by Chuck Norris, he's a very comfortable presence. I always find him very comfortable, to have him, to be around him. I don't recall seeing many other Chuck Norris movies, I have to confess. I think I saw Invasion USA, maybe one other one. He's done a lot of movies. He did a lot of movies, I should say. Missing in Action, Good Guys Wear Black, a whole bunch of things, Code of Silence, etc., etc. And it's a good Chuck Norris movie, but don't expect too much. If you could check your brain at the door and just have some fun with it. And Chuck Norris, though, isn't much of an actor. If you're looking for acting, I don't think he has that much presence here. He kind of like is nice to have around, but doesn't really light up the screen. Cheers.